Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we are doing another intermediate Aether Revolt Swiss Draft League. If you like the content on this channel, please subscribe and like the videos. Thank you. Also going to have a new video today from Sam Rubin, of course. Not a draft video, but Sam does his Learning from Sam series, so check that out. So we have Scrap Trawler at rare, which is a fine pick, but we have Ridge Scale Tusker, and this card is just absurdly good. Also have Renegade Map in here, which is not as good as Ridge Scale Tusker, as it turns out. So we're going to first pick the Tusker. Be very, very happy about that. I feel like this is actually the first time I've gotten to play Tusker, too, which is kind of crazy since it's only an uncommon, but it's a bomb uncommon. Okay, follow-up pick. Well, a bunch of good cards in here. We have the Narnum Renegade, which is on color with the Ridge Scale Tusker, but I think we're looking at Pacification Array. I think this card is very, very strong, deceptively strong. There's also High Spire Infusion and Implement of Ferocity, which are also, I guess, on color with Ridge Scale Tusker as well. And like I said, another Renegade Map, but we're going to take the Pacification Array because I know this card is just very, very good. Third pick. Well, we can, once again, stay on color, take the Leopard, which is a good card. We have a Restoration Specialist, which I like, but not quite worth going into white for. Vengeful Rebel, also good. Get some nice 2-for-1 value out of that. I'm fine taking the Leopard here. It's a good 3-drop. It has built-in trample. Even if you only get in once as a 4-3 trampler at 3 mana, it's efficient. And like I said, the fact that it has trample is actually very relevant with green combat tricks that buff. Also red combat tricks that buff, I imagine, are pretty good with the Leopard as well. What's the most powerful card in here? Like I said, the Specialist, the Rebel, the Inventor, all of these are very good picks. None of them are necessarily worth going into their respective colors for. So let's just continue to try and make this Tusker work, because I would argue that Tusker is actually better than all 3 of these cards. So let's take the Leopard. Well, we have Hidden Herbalist. I actually like Call for Unity, believe it or not. I could just take it. It does want you to be a bit of a Revolt deck, though. But I think this card is actually very strong. I played it once, and even though I did terrible, it wasn't Call for Unity's fault. There is, like I said, Hidden Herbalist, High Spire Infusion, and Implement of Ferocity. All of these are good. But Call for Unity might just be bomby enough where I want to take it here. I really do actually like this card. I rated it very low during the spoilers, but I think it's a lot better than I gave it credit for. Plus, green-white can do a lot of Revolt shenanigans. I'm going to take the Call for Unity. It's early enough, and we could definitely make this work if we are so fortunate. So here, not too much. There's no green pick. Reverse Engineer is fine. If it might be the strongest card in here. We could take the Decommission if we still want to make the Call for Unity work. There's an Aether Inspector, which I don't really like. Although Spitting Dudes Out, I guess, is good for Call for Unity, but 2-3 for 4 is just way too inefficient. We could just take the Decommission. It's a fine removal spell. I think it's less exciting than Reverse Engineer, but it is totally a main deckable spell, so alright, we'll take it. Okay, so Conviction, Call for Unity is definitely a combo. There is a Prey Upon in here, which is obviously very good with what we've got as well, but we might just want the combo piece for Revolt. Like I said, Conviction, Call for Unity doesn't get too much better than that. Just every turn. That's a little engine that could. And the beauty of that is this makes your guy super defensive too. So it's like super defensive, play Conviction, bounce it, play Conviction. You have a super defensive dude, and you get your Revolt trigger. Prey Upon is a much better card in a vacuum, but if I don't end up getting another Conviction, I might feel bad about it. I'm going to take the Conviction over the better card here, just on the hope that I can make this Call for Unity work. That's a super late Druid of the Cowl. Pretty happily picking this up. Another late Inventor in here. Frontline Rebel, which is good. So Lifecraft Awakening, synergistic with anything that makes artifacts. There's nothing in here I really care about anyway. I could take a Night Market Guard or an Inspector, but I'll take the Lifecraft Awakening. I think this card's actually playable. If I don't get enough artifacts, we won't go for it, but if I do, I think it's actually really good. Like any of the green or white Fabricate spells, I imagine are pretty awesome with Lifecraft Awakening. So we can take Infusion now. We wield a map though. We're going to take the map. We want Revolt triggers. Now we can go into 3-color. Infusion is definitely good, especially with the Leopard. Like I said, you buff it, and it has Trample, and you get more energy. That just all works really nicely, but map is definitely the pick for us. Works with our Lifecraft Awakening. Ooh, we got the Implement back too. This is fantastic. So I'm actually really happy I took Call for Unity now, because we are just getting all of the goods that you would want for a Call for Unity deck. So this is cool. I don't think it's likely I play Consulate Turret or Assembler for that reason, but we could make Assembler work. We have some cheap artifacts now, so remember, we can splash too because of this map and the fact that we're in green, so I can be conscious of that. All right, I guess we can take a Universal Solvent. It is, in fact, a removal spell. I guess we could have taken the Aegis too of Automaton. None of these cards matter. I guess we'll take a Technician. Take the Getaway. Okay. Pretty successful pack 1. I like where we're at. So Consulate Crackdown, which is definitely good. Leopard and Lifecraft Cavalry, really good cards in here. Another map. Crackdown's pretty good. I probably don't first pick it though. I think we're either looking at map for another Revolt trigger, and I can just lower the overall land count in my deck at that point too. Or we could take the Cavalry, which is definitely a bomb 5-drop. But it is a 5-drop, and there's Leopard, another Leopard too. I'd probably just maybe take the Revolt Enabler. Actually, this is the tough part, isn't it? Because if you're making a Revolt deck like I'm trying to do, you want a good balance of Revolt spells versus Revolt Enablers. So this is an actual Revolt spell. This is an actual Revolt spell. This is. Our Enablers are Implement, Map, Conviction. So right now we're pretty even on that front. I could just take the beefy Cavalry. This is definitely a strong card. And then we could hope to either see another map. This wheeled last time, so obviously people aren't prioritizing it super high in this draft. I think we're actually going to take the 5-drop here. Typically, I don't take 5-drops first like this, but like I said, I want a good balance. I would love a good balance of Revolt and Enabling. Wow, Geode Miner is very good. This is also a free Revolt Enabler. I mean, it's not free. I guess it costs energy, but this card's very good. There's Cavalry and a Dragster in here, and another Conviction, and another Implement. I mean, I think we're going to wheel something we want here. Most likely the Implement, like last time, but we'll take the Miner. It's a cheap creature, free Revolt Enabler. Free, in quotations, Revolt Enabler. And it's just a good aggressive beater, so I like it. So now there's a Leopard, there's an Infiltrator, there's a Revolution, which technically we could play off of the map. I think there's an argument that Revolution could be splashable, but I think because Leopard is probably so good, or Infiltrator, I might actually like Leopard more. It's more expensive, but 2/3 body could be better. Actually not 100% on that. There's a Scrapper Champion too, which I guess also is arguably worth splashing for. You don't need to splash off Renegade map. I would say I wouldn't want to splash unless it's something super bomb, like some big fat bomb. So I think I could take another Leopard or an Infiltrator, like I said. I think I'm actually going to take the Leopard. Okay, Spire of Industry is actually worth a couple tickets. There's a Caught in the Brights and a Narnum Renegade. And there's Silkweaver Elite, so we have all of these Revolt cards now. My removal is currently a Pacification Array, a Universal Solvent, which I don't even necessarily want to play, a Decommission. I might just take the Caught in the Brights here. I was down on this card for a while, but I think it's kind of like a necessary evil most of the time. So I'm actually going to take it here over Elite and Renegade. So we have another Revolt card in Renegade. We also could take the Enabler and Implement. We have 7 creatures. We currently have 3 Revolt spells and 4 Enablers, right? Implement, Solvent. Well, Implement, Map, Conviction, Minor. That's 4 Enablers and 1, 2, 3 technically Revolt cards. So I could actually take the Renegade here over the Implement. I think Implement might be slightly better. But I also need to make sure I have enough creatures, and this works well with the Call for Unity for getting a couple bodies. I guess there's an argument there. I feel like Implement's probably better, but I need to make sure I have enough low end, and let's just make our balance of Enablers versus... Oh, wow. Another Druid of the Cowl? Well, we're going to take it. This is pretty awesome. I guess another argument for Renegade is it works well with the Lifecraft Awakening, but we might not make that work. I guess it depends. So we can take the Refiner here. Technically, we can splash that. It has some synergy with the Miner and the Leopards. You get to draw a card. It's probably not worth splashing. Same thing with Enraged Giant. Chances of playing Inspector are pretty low, but I guess we can take it here and cut white. Okay, so we could take the modification. There's another chance to get Conviction. I don't think we need the Obsolescence because we have the Decommission. So a second Conviction. This is our last pack for Revolt, but I might just want the modification. We still have a chance to get a vehicle too. This is a strong way to just put people away. Yeah, I probably don't need a second Conviction. I think we're actually good on Enablers. So we could take the Servo Schematic. This is better with Improvise. I mean, it gives us some more Lifecraft Awakening. I guess it's okay with Assembler, Improvise. It's good with Call for Unity, sort of, but not especially. It's okay with Ridgescale Tusker. None of these cards are really shocking me. Or maybe we just take the Assembler. Colorless card that can copy any artifact on the board. Okay. Well, we got the Conviction back anyway. So I guess I could have had a Prey Upon and get a guaranteed Conviction, but I don't regret the pick because you never know what you're going to open and what you're going to get past. I think a lot of people suffer from hindsight bias when they watch drafts too. They're like, oh, dude, it was so obvious you should have taken this, but you can't see the future and neither can I. If I could see the future, I think I would have pretty amazing draft decks every time. So there's some really late powerful red cards here, but we'll just take the Automaton. I guess none of these cards matter. We'll take the Resourceful Return. Filigree Crawler, okay. Well, we definitely would have gotten enough Convictions. So pack 3 here. There's a Trusty Companion, which I like. I could take it over the Appetite here. There's Cogworker's Puzzle Knot, which is technically a Revolt Enabler, but I think Trusty Companion's probably better. Yeah, we'll take it over the Puzzle Knot, over the Appetite here. That is fine. Ooh, well, Bristling Hydra is very strong. There's also, wow, this pack has everything we want. Thrino, Hydra, Trumpeter, Wispweaver Angel, Maneuver, Artisan, Timing. Like, all these cards are exactly what we want. If we can wheel the Maneuver, I'd be happy, but we're going to take the Hydra just because this card, the cost to benefit is so nice on this. Even if you don't have a dedicated energy strategy, which we don't, it's still just very good. So I think we're going to take the Hydra here. Hope to get back Maneuver. I think we'll get back something we want from that. It's just too many good green and white cards. Plus, jumping from Druid into Hydra is just very, very strong. So we're already looking like a good deck. I could see the argument for 2 Convictions. 3 Convictions is not going to happen. So we can take the Fabrication module. We don't have a ton of energy cards, though. Miner, it's pretty awesome with. Every time you attack, it just gets buffed. That's strong. We also have the 2 Leopards. So that's 3 cards, 4 cards. We only have 4 cards. I'd probably just take the Rhino then. Could take the Revoke Privileges as well. Our removal, though, is Pacification Array, Caught in the Brights, Decommission. I arguably could use another removal spell, but I think Thriving Rhino is actually just so good that I want to take it here over the energy combo piece and over the revoke privileges. I think I would rather just have Thriving Rhino. This card is very good. It's just a very well-costed beater. So we have Durable Handicraft, which is kind of cool, but I probably either want Seed Sculptor or Mechanic here, and probably Seed Sculptor. Just lets you buff a dude and get in, which I think is very good. And we can definitely upgrade some of our creatures here. Like, we don't really need Automaton. Symbler can be gone. We don't need the Crawler. I don't even really need the Inspector. It's pretty weak overall. We'll take the Seed Sculptor here. So there's a Bastion Mastodon, which is pretty good. There's an Artisan and a Cobra. So the Mastodon is another fatty. Current fatty count is Tusker and Cavalry, but I could run the Mastodon pretty easily over the aerial modification, even though we don't have any evasion really. So this is just a way to go over top with a huge fatty, which we have plenty of, and just win. Like, put it on a Cavalry and just swing for 8, which is very good. But I might just want the Mastodon because it's just very good too. And we have some ramp elements. Mastodon's pretty awesome. I do like Cobra too. I think I'm going to go with the Mastodon. I feel like I could swap out the modification for it and be pretty satisfied. So we can take Appetite, which I think is just better than Decommission. You don't need the Revolt. But there is also a Built to Last, which I might just want. Not that I have a lot of artifacts, but just +2/+2 is actually very good for 1 mana. So, yeah, I think I'd probably do that. Because we are a little bit light. Like, I can play that over Solvent pretty easily. I don't need the Solvent. And I don't think we're going to do the aerial modification anymore either. So I can take the Built to Last and just have another combat trick, which I think will be good. Take it over the Herald of the Fair anyway, and an Appetite, which, even though, like I said, it's better than Decommission, but we already have Decommission, so why swap it? So we can take Eager Construct, and it'll be our, 15th creature, which is reasonable. Could take an Ornamental Courage, which I've found to be a pretty good combat trick. I would say arguably better than Built to Last in our deck. Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe assumption. I want to make sure our creature count's high if we're going to abuse this Call for Unity, though. And I think we're probably off Lifecraft Awakening anyway. We just don't have enough artifacts or Fabricate, so let's just take the creature, cut the Lifecraft Awakening, I think. So there's Torch Gauntlet. God, can you imagine if I'd gotten Demolition Stomper in that last draft? Jeez. How did we not see this card? Well, I guess it's an uncommon. I guess we'll take a Torch Gauntlet. I don't think we're going to play it, though. All right, so we got the Puzzle Knot back, which is another Revolt Enabler, albeit a more expensive one, but that's okay. I'm not sure if it's going to make the deck. I guess we'll figure it out. Got the Acrobatic Maneuver. Okay. Last time I missed out on this, but I think I actually do want to play it in this deck. It's a Revolt Enabler. Pretty good one. So we'll take that. Also lets you, like, randomly block with big dudes, too, which is nice, and just dodge removal spells and draw a card, so I think it'll work just fine in here. I'll take the on-color card, but I don't need it. Sequestered Stash to get back an artifact. Seems unlikely, but so do these other 2 cards. Apprentice, Swingsmith. Okay. So we have a good deck. We're going to run 16 lands with a Renegade map and double Druid. We should still have plenty. I'm debating whether I want to do double Conviction still. I think Awakening can go. We have enough fatties, right? Cavalry, Tusker, Mastodon. I don't want to cut another creature. Can I cut non-creature spells and be okay? I have to cut 2. Puzzle Knot's technically a creature. It is a Revolt Enabler, but do I like it more than Construct? I might because of that. How many Revolt cards do I have? I have Cavalry, Call for Unity. I thought I had another one. Do I only have 2? 3? I only ended up with 3? Well, I guess I don't need to focus on Revolt then. Let's just cut a Conviction for that reason. Call for Unity, kind of excited to try out here in this deck. So I only need to make one more cut. Probably the Puzzle Knot. Now that I've seen I only have 3 Revolt cards, and this isn't a great Revolt enabler anyway, it is likely better with Call for Unity, and might actually be better with Tusker too. Would I rather get 2 2/2s or a 1 3/3? I don't know. Maybe the Puzzle Knot is better. Not 100% on this. I could arguably do 15 lands too. My curve is actually pretty low. 4/5 drops. So I top out at 5. I have Map, which is like a 16th land if you have 1 land. And then double Druid. I could probably do 15 lands, but the only reason to do 15 lands in my estimate is if you have a 25th spell that's worth playing. So the 2 that I think were on the fence for me, right, were Construct and Puzzle Knot. And I'm still feeling like Puzzle Knot is probably worse than Construct. I'd probably rather Scry. I don't think either of these cards are worth justifying playing 15 lands. If I was having a card that's just super bomb that I wouldn't want to cut, it would make sense. But I think we're going to cut the Puzzle Knot. I think I'd rather have the Scry, even though it gives it to my opponent too, and just sort of leave it with this. And I think we actually still have enough removal, which is nice too. The Array, the Built to Last, the Decommission, the Caught in the Brights. So that's it. 4 removal spells. That's adequate. And we have 15 creatures, which is the exact count I want. I think we have enough ways to win. So, yeah, actually, I like this deck. I think this looks good. So, looks like we're going to do an even split. I imagine that's what they're going to suggest too. They do. So, green-white. I thought we were building Revolt, but now it's just more of like a... not even necessarily combo with Call for Unity, but we're definitely going to be able to trigger Revolt because we have good enablers, right? We have Implement, Map, Minor, Conviction, Maneuver. So we have 5 good Revolt enablers and then 3 good Revolt cards, right? Call for Unity, Cavalry. Maybe we only have 2 good Revolt cards, but that's all right. This deck is good. We have good top end. We have good bottom end, so we have adequate removal. There's really no weak point of this deck. I would have liked a little more Revolt synergy, but I'm excited to try out the Call for Unity, and I hope it's as good as I want it to be, because I did say during my spoiler video it's kind of a 5-mana do-nothing, but I think it's actually quite a bit better than that. So hopefully we'll get to explore that with this deck and see what we can do. So we'll see you round 1.